Our senses. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesh Shunyavadi Vaishadishtarine Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. One purpose of this chanting, of this seminar is to learn how to chant and what's chanting and why to chant and so on. Another purpose of this seminar is to show you that Srila Prabhupada has answers to all questions if we read them properly. And all guidance and all hints. That's what I told yesterday. Okay, so let's just go into this topic, art of chanting. Now, before I tell you what's good chanting, let me just tell you what's bad chanting. Because we all sometimes do that, maybe consciously, unconsciously, or sometimes we slip into these kind of chanting. These are not names in scriptures. I made it up. All these names. But it gets to the point. So there are a few types of chanting: submarine chanting, machine gun chanting, radar chanting, electric shock chanting, and can't chanting. You can see, you can see from there or what? It's not clear? Yeah. Oh, there's some reflection. Okay, fine. So there's different kinds of chanting we all do. For example, we sometimes do submarine chanting when we are very tired, or maybe after Mangal Arati. You know that, like, I have to show you that, otherwise you'll not recognize what's that. Sometimes we go, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And chanting never finishes. Yugaitam Nimishena. It doesn't finish, that's all. We are like submarine going up and down, up and down, up and down. We all have experienced that. And then there's machine gun chanting, something, many devotees don't have time, they want to finish, and they just chant very, very fast. They skip holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. You have heard this? Or maybe worse than this. Hare Krishna, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. You can't even Hare Krishna, probably they'll go to Shing Lok. I don't know. Somewhere they'll go. We don't try to finish chanting. So that's not a good idea. You might take a little more time, but better chant properly. Then there's something called radar chanting. And that's very common because, especially with congregation, householders, because they are in their home, they have so many things to do, and they're chanting, and then they are like chanting. Radar chanting is your radar is not fixed. Your mind is everywhere. So you're chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. You are doing all those kind of things. You are haywire. Your mind, intelligence, and soul is not in one direction. Actually, it is said in one of the Puran, or like Prabhupada quotes that. Prabhupada says, when your and even Bhaktivedanta comments on this, when your words, your intelligence, your mind and your soul are in one direction, then you attain trance in chanting. That's our aim. Our aim is samadhi. Trance. Prabhupada says in Bhagavad Gita, by the way. Trance means perfect concentration. Concentration is some other sense, I'll tell you, but perfect focus and concentration on Krishna and holy names. That's called as trance. So that's our aim, because only in trance you can meet Krishna face to face. It's not possible to meet Krishna face to face without being in trance. Even, actually it is said by Madhvacharya, Draupadi, she was very distressed, isn't it, when she was disrobed in the Sabha. Duryodhana, who is that? Dushasana tried to disrobe her, and she was asking help from everybody, but nobody was helping her. Even Bhishma Pitamaha denied. Her husbands, yeah. So they denied. But then what she did? Govinda. But the point is, if somebody disrobes you and you chant Govinda, Krishna is not going to come. What's the difference? The difference is, Madhva comments, when she chanted Govinda, she left all her materialistic impressions of asking help from this. She just left everything. She just let go everything. Her voice, her mind, her intelligence, her soul was totally on Govinda. She went into trance actually. And that's why she forgot her body and surroundings. You see in trance, so you know what is trance, isn't it? You know what is trance. Trance is, you forget this body, you forget this word. Gopis were in trance when they met Krishna, when he played the flute and they met him. Bhagavatam says they were in trance. Because Chaitanya Charitamrita explains, when gopis met Krishna for the first time when he played flute, they what's that? Deha smriti nahi jar. They forgot their bodies. They forgot this material world. Krishna smriti jahar. Krishna smriti jahar, deha smriti nahi tahar. It goes like this, some words of Chaitanya. So they just forgot. That's what we are aiming for when we are chanting. I'll talk about that. We are not satisfied finishing 16 rounds. That's nothing. That's pre-assumed. A human should chant 16 rounds, not a devotee. Prabhupada talks about that, I'll tell you. This is radar chanting. Don't do this. Electric shock chanting, you all know. You might have gone to Vrindavan and people sit. So do you know what's electric chanting? Anybody can figure out? I just made it up. What's that? Yeah, okay, good. Thank you very much.
I saw a rally when I'm over there. It's like Gopal Krishna.
Oh, yeah.
What are you doing? Parikrama.
Yeah, Parikrama. Yeah. Yeah, something happens to them. I don't know what happens to them, but something happens. But chanting is about love. It's not about mechanics or dynamics. It's about love. It's about feelings, ultimately. So you don't tell your girlfriend, I love you. What's happening? No, I'm focusing. She's mad. It's crazy. So, I don't know what happens to them. And then the fourth is can't chanting. The Prabhupada said, chant, can't. I simply cannot chant. My mind is going somewhere, I'm frustrated, I'm bored, and something is happening. The point is, these kind of chantings, they are bad chanting, we should not do. Then the question comes, how to chant? But before that, the question comes, why should we chant? Why at all we should be chanting? What's the point? Why chanting is the backbone of our movement. From a movement, you can remove temples. You can remove prasadam. Maybe not, I don't know. But you can even remove works. But if you remove holy name, it's finished. There's nothing. There's nothing in our movement. Holy name is a central thing around which everything is building on. Isn't it? So, let's first discuss why chanting is most important. But let me quote Prabhupada. Chanting is a most important duty. You know why? This is from Chaitanya Charitamrita, 15 chapter, 107th verse, purport. And Srila Prabhupada says, Prabhupada actually quotes Jiva Goswami, and you should all know this quote. Bhakti Siddhanta, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Jiva Goswami again and again quote this line. This is from Bhakti Sandarbh. In this regard, Jiva Goswami states in his book Bhakti Sandarbh 173 verse, Yadepi anya bhakti kalau kartavya tadas kirtan akhe bhakti sanyoganeva. That means out of 9 process of devotional service, Kirtan is very important. Jiva Goswami therefore instructs that other processes such as Archana, Vandana, Dasya, Sakhe should be executed, but they must be preceded and followed by Kirtan or chanting of holy names. You see the point? That Prabhupada is bringing the point. Any limb of devotion, Dasya, Archana, Sakhe, they should be preceded and followed by chanting. That's why chanting is the most important duty So that's why Prabhupada made a system. While Archana, we are chanting holy names. While cleaning, we should be chanting. While worshipping, while cooking, we should always be chanting. And this Sanskrit is very easy actually. Very easy. Yadyapi means although. Anya means other. Bhakti Kartavya means other bhakti limbs. Kalau means in Kali Yuga. Although in Kali Yuga you are doing deity worship, you are cooking, you are praising Lord, whatever you are doing, cleaning. But tada kirtanakhya, but sanyogeneva. Sanyog means joined. It should be joined with kirtan akhya bhakti, with chanting. That's how important chanting is. If you delete chanting, nothing will work. Your deity worship will not work. Your cooking will not work. Krishna will not accept. So now the question comes, why it is like this? Why Kirtanam is the most important limb of all the limbs of devotion? Why it's the central? Why it should be preceded and followed? Why is that? Do you have any idea for that? Okay, any question, any answers for that? Why Kirtan should be attached to all other limbs of devotion? Why is that? To purify? Well?
Yeah, because if we are not thinking about Krishna, then the cooking
Well,
is not really for him.
Okay.
Because I'm thinking about him. And
Okay, what about reading Bhagavatam?
Do we need to chant that time?
No,
While we are reading Bhagavatam?
Bhagavatam reading is chanting actually.
Yeah,
We have to understand
that's what I mean,
that when we are reading that. But the point I am saying, even reading Bhagavatam can purify you. You are saying we chant to purify, but then reading Bhagavatam can purify us.
Yeah.
Then what's the difference? Even eating prasadam can purify us. You can keep on eating prasadam, but if you keep on eating prasadam, you will not go back to Godhead. We all know we'll sleep. That's all. If we keep on doing that. No, that's what I'm asking. Why? What's the logic?
Is the life of our transcendental knowledge?
This is, you know what, anyway, just forgive me, but we are discussing, so I have a prerogative to say something, but this is poetry for me. I want logic. Prabhupada says this is age of logic. And if our mind is not clear, we will not be fixed on the goal. Your answer is perfect. I don't argue, but for arguing's sake, I am saying, then you have to explain me what is life of transcendental knowledge and this. You see, you need, and it's simple answers that even we can talk to 5-year-old child. Okay, this is why you have to chant. This, tuck, he understands, it's fine, finished. That's the point I am coming to.
Because it's pure in the sense there can be no speculation or anything added to it or taken out.
Well, prasadam is also pure. And keep on eating rasgullas, that's all. And go back to order. Well, Prabhupada said, you eat rasgulla and I'll go back to order. Prabhupada said that, by the way, once. But we understand, like chanting is chanting. So what do? You see the point, this question is not easy. So I will reframe this question for you. What I'm asking is, what is so unique in chanting which is not there in any other limb? That's my question. What can holy name do which Bhagavatam cannot do? What can holy name do which Prasadam cannot do? Something only holy name can do. No other limb can do. And that is why holy name should be mixed with all other limbs. You see the point? Just like for example, if you make food, like here everybody, food. What is the most important component in food? In the taste? Salt, okay. But nobody talks about it, isn't it? So one of the Vaishnava Acharya, I think Annamai from South India, he said Vaishnav is like a salt. Just like salt is the most important, it gives a taste to the food. If you take it out, no matter how much taste, no matter how much exquisite cuisine you make, it's all waste. But you don't know about that, and nobody says salt. Oh, nice, so nice salt. Nobody says that. That's Vaishnava. Vaishnava is always behind and under. He will do all the things important, and nobody will know him. But Krishna knows him. That's, by the way. Okay, salt. So you see, salt has some unique thing which no other item has. And that's why we added. So what's so unique in holy name? That's what I'm asking. Which makes it unique above other limbs. Other limbs can purify you. Other limbs can also, make you remember Krishna. There are so many things. What is holy name? Yeah.
Well, there's a verse that I don't know. It's what you're talking about. It's Harinama, Harinama, Harinama. It's like there's no other way.
Well, but that's my question. Why did Mahaprabhu say this? Or why this verse is there? What's the logic? There has to be some logic because...
It's the Yuga Dharma.
No, but then why?
Well, why is it the Yuga Dharma?
Yeah. That's the question we are chanting. Because if we go on the street, if we say some words, they will say, why should I accept you? If we say Prabhupada said it, who cares for Prabhupada?
Well, it's scripture.
No, who cares for scripture? Who cares for scripture?
Well, if you want logic.
Yeah, logic, yeah. That's why.
It makes sense, if you're connected to God, you're part of God, you're a small part, and you're meant to glorify God because you're separated from God. And if you chant, then you'd be thinking about God.
Okay, fine. I accept the argument. Very nice. I can give you option. We can keep on reading Bhagavatam whole day, and that we'll remember Krishna and we'll glorify Him. There are so many prayers, but by chanting.
Well, it didn't really end. If you're looking for the thing, I didn't really answer.
Yeah. I mean to say, I'm looking for very unique things, and Prabhupada speaks about that. That's what I'm bringing this point. That's why I brought this point. This is that boy. He wanted to speak something. You want to tell something? Yeah, he raised his hand, by the way.
Because you're calling out to Krishna.
Okay. Yeah. Somewhere, yeah. Okay. Somewhere near. You're calling out to Krishna. It makes sense. You're near, yeah.
Is it because Krishna is non-different?
Krishna is not different from Bhagavatam also. Krishna is not different from Prasad also. Deity is also Krishna. So that answer is common to all limbs.
I can't answer it directly, but to approach it indirectly, I don't know if you've ever heard of the universal laws. No?
I've heard it.
There's one universal law that's very popular that's called the law of attraction. And
okay. I got your point. It's from that.
Which you focus your mind on constantly.
Well, you can focus by remembering also. You don't need to chant. Isn't it? Then, but I'm specifically talking about chanting, moving your tongue and chanting Hare Krishna. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, so I'll just speak now. I'll just tell you. There are 5 unique reasons why Prabhupada states this. Why Jiva Goswami is so insistent on this fact, you must mix the chanting or kirtanam with all other limbs. Why is that? There's something unique in holy names. That's why it is Yoga Dharma. That's why scripture says again and again, chanting. That's why Mahaprabhu says, just chant. Okay, why? The first thing is, let's discuss 5 reasons. You have heard this Aparad Bhanjan? Aparad Bhanjan is a term used by Bhaktivedanta Thakur and in his book, Harinam Chintamani, and somewhere else also. This means chanting destroys offenses against the Lord. No, whatever offenses you do in deity worship, and that will happen because we are not expert. We cannot avoid offenses, no matter how much perfectly you do. Nobody is trained also in that sense. We'll do offenses while cooking, while all other limbs will do some offenses. And those offenses can be destroyed while chanting, by chanting. And especially offenses against holy names can be destroyed only by holy names. There is no other way. In fact, those 10 offenses we read in the morning, actually those 10 offenses are from Padma Puran, and before that there is another verse in Sanskrit, and it says all these offenses can be destroyed only by chanting. That's the idea. So we all know that. That's why chanting is the most important duty, because you cannot destroy offenses against holy names by any other limb. It's not possible. Only by repeated chanting. I think these 10 offenses are spoken by Kumaras, maybe something like that in Padma Puran they quote. But here's the point. I've quoted this from Srimad Bhagavatam, 1st Canto, 6th chapter, 33rd verse, purport. And you just read this and tell me a question. Now I'll ask a question. What is the link of this purport with my point of destroying offenses? Now Prabhupada says, it's a beautiful quotation by Prabhupada, saying words of Prabhupada. Prabhupada never repeats it, never in any of this work, but this is the most important point if we want to chant nicely. Prabhupada says, it's a natural psychology in every individual case that a person likes to hear and enjoy his personal glories enumerated by others. It is natural for everybody to hear their own glories, isn't it? That natural instinct, the Lord being also an individual personality like others, is not an exception to this psychology. Because psychological characteristics visible in individual souls are but reflection of the same psychology in absolute truth. In simple words, we all like to hear our glories, isn't it? Isn't it? Yes or no? Yes. Like, for example, I'll just give you an example. Okay, but I think his name is Gopal Krishna Das. Gopal Krishna Das. Okay. Suppose I chant his names: Gopal Krishna, Gopal Krishna, Gopal Krishna, Gopal Krishna, Gopal Krishna, Gopal Krishna, Gopal Krishna. I keep on chanting your names. What happens? You see, you're becoming happy. Just 4 times I chanted. He's laughing. Automatically. He can't avoid it. It's a reflex. It's a natural psychology that if we are glorified, we become happy. And you see, sometimes ministers in a court, they flatter the king, isn't it? King knows he's flattering me, but nevertheless, he knows he's flattering. That minister knows I am flattering, but at the same time, because the flattering makes him so happy, he's bound to like fulfill his desires. It happens like that. In company also, in boss also, you say something to boss, you're nice. Boss knows he's flattering, he's nonsense, He knows I'm flattering, but then it makes your work done. So, but Krishna, we are not flattering. But the point is, Prabhupada says that this same thing, psychology is coming from God. Because Krishna has, we have this. So as soon as we chant Krishna, he becomes very happy. It's reflex. That instinct is coming from God. It's a reflex. When we chant Hare Krishna, he becomes very, very happy. And that's the logic there. Krishna likes to hear his own name. Just like we want to hear our own names, isn't it? He likes to hear. Okay, fine. So this is the point. How do I connect it with destruction of offenses? I quoted this here. Why? Why I'm quoting this here? Are you understanding my question? All of you? Yes or no?
Yes.
The question is, chanting is important because chanting destroys offenses. And I brought another point that if you chant Krishna names, he becomes very happy. What's the connection between 2 points?
So when he's pleased, he pardons.
Okay, good.
When he pleases, he's
Yeah, Prabhu? Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to say
Actually.
this. You are saying that we are chanting holy name for the offenses, or
No.
we are for the destroy the offenses?
Of course. Offenses against holy name.
But Prabhupada says we are chanting for holy name because of we love Krishna. That is it. Because we cannot get that. Boy was saying the same answer. This is the right answer.
What?
Because we cannot get Krishna in material world, but which is Nam, Vigraha and Swarup.
Yeah.
That thing is ek roop.
Yeah.
Krishna's name,
Yeah.
Vigraha, and
They are one.
he himself. So that 3 is all in one.
Yeah.
So holy name can come because of holy name always will be in the Guru Vrindavan. So they come like Golokara, Premadhana.
Anyway, so what's the point? I can't understand because it's a simple point. What?
No, this is not. I'm saying is Prabhupada never said for the we are doing.
No. We are not doing chanting for destroying offenses.
No, you said that.
No, I am saying chanting is chanting is the most important duty because Prabhupada says because chanting destroys offenses against all other limbs.
Yeah, so I'm just saying what we are chanting for. The Prabhupada said we have to follow our love to Krishna. That is why we are chanting holy name. Then we cannot get Krishna here, but we can get the holy name. Holy name is same Krishna.
Yes, so that's what. Yeah, that's what I'm talking.
So that is why that boy said this is the right answer.
Yes, same thing I'm talking.
We are not getting Krishna. That is why we are chanting.
The same thing I'm talking.
No, you said this. We are just chanting for that. You want the logic.
No. Effect, and looking forward is a different thing. The effect of chanting holy names is this, but we are not looking forward to destroying offenses. We are looking forward for the love of Krishna. But this is the effect that will happen like that. They are two different things, very different things. Chanting helps to destroy all these things, but we don't look forward for that. But it will happen like this. This is the mechanism how this works. These are two different things. And it will come. So the point is, he's right. When you chant and Krishna becomes happy, he forgives. That's what Prabhupada explains. And because anybody who is in happy mood, then they tend to forgive. That's all. So that's how chanting works. When you are here, just like, for example, we are not looking forward to ask something for Krishna, but Krishna will give everything from his own accord. We don't want, but he'll give. Similarly, when you chant, Krishna becomes happy and Krishna will forgive all offenses. And it helps us. Because you see the point, so Vedanta Deshika, there is one big saint of South India, a very famous saint, Vedanta Deshika, if you know. He raised a point, why does Krishna keep Radha? Actually they are Lakshmi Narayan. Why does Narayan keep Lakshmi with him? Isn't it? Or Ram, Sita, or Krishna and Radha. Why he brings Radha with him? He doesn't need to do that. But in deity worship, we worship Krishna and Radha. Why? Because Krishna is more of justice. He's God. And he can't be partial, first of all. And whole 7th canto Bhagavatam, it is actually dedicated to this one question, whether God is partial or not. Whole 7th canto, it begins like that. Whole 7th canto is answer to this. The entire Paramatma Sandarbha is answer to this. Is God partial or not? This is a very big thing. If he is partial, then he loses the capacity to rule people. Avigya Swarat, he is a king of kings. So for Krishna, it's more justice. But then he brings Radha with her because Radha is mercy. And when Radha is besides him, Krishna becomes very happy. Simply presence of Radha makes him happy. For us, we need to do some service to him, then he becomes happy. But for Radha, in Radha's case, her very existence makes Krishna happy. She doesn't need to do anything. Nothing. She is there. The fact she is there, Krishna is happy. That's basically Chaitanya Charitamrita all about. That's the speciality of Radharani. So she is there, and Krishna keeps Radha with him. So that when he do justice, because Radha is besides him, he becomes very happy. In a happy mood, he forgives. And this example is given actually by Jiva Goswami in Bhakti Sandarbha. And he raises this very point about chanting, and he gives an example that it's a classical example. Everybody gives. So just like a king goes to a country, he defeats it, and he takes all the wealth, and then he comes back to his kingdom. And he's coming back to his kingdom with all the wealth. He's very happy. All the music is going on, and somebody brings some criminals there. Okay, they have to be judged. And what the king will do at that time? I won the war. I am happy. On this day, everybody is free, forgiven. He is happy. That's how chanting works. One of the mechanism there. And our acharyas and Prabhupada likes to explain that fact. So, that's what he was. So when we call out to him, he forgives, he pardons us. The second thing why chanting is important is because chanting also helps us to solve doubts in philosophy. Without chanting, you cannot solve doubts. That is unique to chanting. We are just talking this question, what is unique to chanting? Other limbs will not be able to do it. So, chanting helps to solve doubts. Now you can raise, Prabhupada says here, letter to 𝗪𝗂𝗪𝗀 Maharaj, he writes, if chanting and following rules and regulations done sincerely, without offense, all questions and doubtful points of philosophy will be cleared up by realization of Krishna from within the heart of a devotee. Prabhupada says if you chant nicely, by realization, all doubts will be solved. Now this is a very deep statement, because you can say, okay, if suppose I have some doubts in philosophy, I can read Bhagavatam and solve it. Isn't it intellectually? Okay, if I have some doubts, give me Bhagavatam. Why I have to chant? I can figure out everything by reading. No. Because there are some kind of doubts which cannot be solved by intelligence. That's impossible. Like for example, holy names and Krishna is one. We know that? Do we know that or not?
Yes.
How many of us know that? Okay, let me say we know and we don't know. It's both. We know and we don't know. We know theoretically, but at the level of realization, partially or maybe no. It's very difficult to actually really know holy name and Krishna is one, and to really realize it and see face to face Krishna and holy name, isn't it? So we know and don't know. So that's the point. So this kind of doubt, this final thing, doubt that whether Krishna and holy name is one, it can only be solved by chanting. There is no other way. By realization. Just like body and soul. We are not this body, we are soul. Okay. We know. But we don't know also. Nobody knows. We don't know. Actually, we are not this body. To the fullest extent, maybe some kind of shadow we have. It's very difficult. That's why whole life Prabhupada was stressing on this point. You are not this body. This is the main thing. That's the perfection of life, by the way. So we know, we don't know. And actually Prabhupada in one of his discussions, he says about these levels of knowledge. Pratyaksh, Paroksh, Aparoksh. You have read this? There is some theoretical knowledge, some realized level of knowledge. So theoretically we can get by books, but to get realization, that final stroke is through holy names. Holy names, in other words, will make knowledge into realization. Jnanam into Vijnanam. Without that, it will not happen. That's the point of holy name. We can read Bhagavatam, we can understand. Without chanting holy name, it will never go to realizations. And that's the point of, that's why I wrote, nurture Shravanam. Kirtanam does pushti for Shravanam. That's it. Kirtanam does pushti for Shravanam, if you put in technical terms. Kirtanam nourishes Shravanam. What you hear, Kirtanam takes, chanting of holy names will take that to a realized level. Yeah, am I making sense? It makes sense. That's unique for chanting. It will give you realizations what to hear. That's why we know people who simply read. There are many people who read, but they don't focus on chanting. They might be chanting, but don't focus on chanting. That's also another thing. So we know that if you simply read and if you don't chant and don't chant properly, you will become scholar, but not a devotee. And if you only chant and not read, then you will not be able to chant properly. So it is said, Kirtanam nourishes Shravanam, and Shravanam does tushti. Tushti, what do you mean? How do we say tushti in English?
Tushti, satisfied.
Yeah. And satisfied. And hearing and Shravanam, it gives satisfaction while chanting. Kirtanam is pushti. Kirtanam does pushti to Shravanam. Shravanam does tushti to Kirtanam. That's how it goes. Chanting of holy names nourishes your reading, and reading satisfies your chanting with satisfaction with it. And that's why both are linked, Shravanam and Kirtanam. That's why we say Sankirtanam. Sankirtanam, one meaning of Sankirtanam is chanting in association of devotees. But another meaning, another level of meaning is Sankirtanam means Kirtanam with Shravanam. That's actually the real depth of that meaning, Sankirtanam. Another meaning of Sankirtanam is when you chant holy names, when your mind, intelligence, words are together chanting and your soul, then that is Sankirtanam. Bhakti Siddhanta like to put it like that. That is real Sankirtanam, when all are chanting together. Love thy Lord with all thy strength, all thy... You know this Bible, 10 Commandments? Love thy Lord with all thy strength. What's that? What's that? All thy heart? All thy mind. See? The 10 Commandments, that's there. All thy strength, all thy mind and all thy heart, all together. And then it comes to the point. So that's why Kirtanam nourishes Shravanam. That's how it goes. It makes into realization. Third is Kirtan Prabhave Smarana Hoive. Bhakti Siddhanta said this. One of his songs. Kirtanam will lead you to remembrance of God. Chanting of holy names will lead you to remembrance of God. Prabhupada says here, this is Bhagavad Gita 8.5 purport. The word Smaranam is important. Remembrance of Krishna is not possible for the impure soul who has not practiced Krishna consciousness in devotional service. Therefore, one should constantly, instantly chant the Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram. Okay, now here's the argument here. Now we say chanting will lead to remembrance of God. We know that. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. But the question is, you can also say, well, when I read Bhagavatam, I remember Krishna. Bhagavatam also is making remember Krishna. Then what's so important in chanting? Or maybe hearing lecture, that's also making remember Krishna. Maybe other limbs also. Why we are stressing? Chanting is a gateway to remembrance because there are two types of remembrance. And whole life of Bhaktivedanta Thakur Bhakti Siddhanta was actually a fight to establish this point, because all these Sahajyas, Upper Sampradayas, they were doing all Leela Kirtan, isn't it? You know, all these songs and Bhagavad Katha, and they said, we don't need to chant. We are remembering Krishna. We are remembering gopis. Bhakti Siddhanta said, no, chanting you have to do. And then they made a point, there are two types of remembrance. One is artificial remembrance, forced remembrance. Another is spontaneous remembrance. Chanting will give you spontaneous remembrance. Other limbs can lead you to spontaneous remembrance, but after a very, 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 very long time. Chanting will bring spontaneous remembrance immediately. Name, form, pastimes and qualities, isn't it? That's what we're talking. Now, what's the difference between forced remembrance and spontaneous remembrance? How do you differentiate between the two? How do I know that my remembrance is spontaneous? We have to know, otherwise we might think I'm chanting and I'm remembering God. Maybe we are becoming Sahajyas. Who knows? And there are many devotees. So how do we know that? Can we tell what's the difference between forced remembrance and spontaneous remembrance? Prabhupada talks about that in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Bhakti Siddhanta, all works are about that, by the way. How do we know that? What happened? Dead silence?
You are not getting no trance.
No trance. Okay, yeah. But trance is a very high stage. At least some.
I mean the pleasure of the Hare Krishna Mahaprabhu.
Pleasure is a dicey thing. I'll talk about that.
Well, yeah.
Pleasure is a dicey thing. To judge a good chanting by pleasure. Huh? Yeah, I know. But then, how do you know that? Somebody can say it's coming from my heart.
The chanting is giving like spontaneous.
Yeah, how do we know it's spontaneous? It's not really artificial, or a mind is speculating what's happening.
Then we could remembering the pastimes. But chanting automatically the pastimes is coming because Krishna is.
Sometimes it happens to all of us also, no? Sometimes, but whether it's spontaneous or not, we have to figure out. It happens to all of us, but whether it's a shadow or it's reality. You see, abhas or shuddhanam, that's what we are talking. So how do you know that? How do you make that distinction? We have to know, otherwise we'll be confused and we don't know what to do. That's why Mahaprabhu has given signs of holy name. He has given that.
We get
when we chant, sometimes our mind wanders.
Okay.
When we chant, your mind
good.
is somewhere else.
Okay, fine.
And then again, all of a sudden, we try to force it back.
Okay,
on the
fine.
holy name.
Yeah, something like this.
That's the difference between.
Okay, I understand. Yeah. See, the point, the main thing is, in spontaneous remembrance, what happens is, you will want to forget Krishna, but you will not forget him. That's spontaneous. You will try to forget, but you will be unable to forget him. That is spontaneous. That's force. A spiritual world is like that. Radharani wants to forget Krishna. We want to remember him. That's how it goes. Our whole life is remembering. Radharani says, I want to forget him. I can't. I'm trying so hard. She also tried to commit suicide. But she couldn't. Actually, she commits suicide in Lalit Madhav. Because the remembrance hampers their daily activities. Isn't it? That's one of the symptoms of spontaneous remembrance, which all of the parampara raises a point. It's so forceful, you will want to stop it, but you will not be unable to stop it. Shadow of remembrance, what we experience, abhas, or forceful, is it comes and goes itself. And that we all experience, isn't it? It comes, that's why you're talking, it goes, and then we bring back. That is not spontaneous. That is shadow of remembrance. That you can't say that is wrong, because we are chanting sincerely, we are remembering God, but that's not the ideal, that's not the spontaneous. We're looking for spontaneous remembrance of God. That's one thing, spontaneous. Anything spiritual will never get destroyed. Anything spiritual is permanent. Anything material is temporary. If your remembrance is temporary, that's having a material component there. It's coming from material platform. It's coming from your mind and intelligence, not from your soul. If it's coming from soul, it has to be permanent. It can't be destroyed. That's a philosophy. And that is spontaneous remembrance. Chanting will lead us to spontaneous remembrance. You will be unable to stop remembering Krishna as soon as you chant. And Prabhupada says, no? Prabhupada puts it simply, in simple words, these deep concepts. Prabhupada says, as soon as you chant, and when you become perfect or near perfection, chanting will be like pressing the button of a TV, isn't it? Prabhupada says. And as soon as you press the TV, picture comes, sound comes, everything comes. Prabhupada says that is the ideal chanting. You chant, everything flashes, name, form, past times, and you are unable to stop. That's spontaneous. That Jaya Kirtan is gateway to remembrance. That is unique to holy name. It will very fast lead to spontaneous remembrance. No other limb can do that. Okay, fourth is, this is very important and this is very interesting. Bhagavad Gita, 3rd chapter, 42nd verse. I read that and it was so impactful. And you see, Prabhupada says there, but even though soul is a master of intelligence and mind, the senses also still, unless it is strengthened by association of Krishna, there is every chance of falling down due to agitated mind. You see, this is very important. This verse 3.42, everybody knows that? What's that? Indriyani parayani ahur, indriyabhya paramana, manasastu parabuddhir, parasastu isa. That above senses is mind, above mind is intelligence, above intelligence is soul or super soul. That's the hierarchy. Why does Krishna tell that? Krishna tells that so that we are able to fight with Maya properly. We need to strengthen all directions, isn't it? Maya is an enemy. She is attacking us. How to do that? Prabhupada says, even if your senses, mind and intelligence is strong, if your soul is weak, you will fall down. And here is a point. Senses are strengthened by renunciation. Mind is strengthened by rules and regulations. Intelligence is strengthened by philosophy. And soul is strengthened by chanting. That's what Prabhupada makes the point. Unless soul is strengthened by association with Krishna in Krishna consciousness. Association of Krishna, the best way is chanting of holy names. We know that. Okay, let me ask you a question. How does philosophy strengthen the intelligence? How does it do? Just like food strengthens the body, isn't it? How? By giving energy. Philosophy strengthens the intelligence by giving what? Knowledge. Okay. Rules and regulations strengthens the mind by giving what? Discipline. Renunciation strengthens the senses by giving what? Determination. Isn't it? Chanting strengthens the soul by giving what? Fill in the blank. What a chanting gives, that soul becomes very strong. Prabhupada speaks everything in Bhagavad Gita. You see the point, along with chanting, I'm making an impression, Prabhupada. Prabhupada wanted us to understand science, spirituality as science. Science, spiritual, science of self. Prabhupada wanted, that's how then we can preach in entire world. People will understand what we are doing, why we are doing.
Chanting directly connected with soul.
No, chanting gives something to soul. Chanting strengthens the soul by dash. Fill in the blank. Food strengthens the body by energy. Chanting strengthens the soul by dash.
Associations.
Love and
Okay,
devotion.
one thing. Yes. Pleasure. 𝗂𝗪𝗀𝗪 Prabhupada speaks in that purport, Bhagavad Gita. Krishna maintains his devotees by giving them pleasure. Not by giving them money or their problems, by giving them pleasure. Because if you get pleasure in Krishna, you will lose pleasure in this world. And that makes chanting, that makes strong. So pleasure and willpower, sankalpa. The main role of soul is sankalpa. You can figure out everything by your intelligence. You can follow all the regulations, but if your willpower is very weak, you will not be able to do anything. Isn't it? We all know getting up for Mangal Arati is good, and Prabhupada said this, but if willpower is weak, no. So chanting does two things. It strengthens the soul by giving pleasure and making our willpower strong. That's chanting. That's why Krishna gives this logic. Senses, first is senses, above senses is mind, above mind is intelligence, above intelligence soul. Why is telling all this hierarchy? To help us make every quarter strong so that Maya cannot attack us from anywhere. So that's chanting strengthens the soul. And the fifth thing is simple. Bhajner Madhya Shresh Nam Sankirtan. This is simple. Chanting is the best service to Krishna. Why? You see, Prabhupada says in 1974 lecture, Bhagavatam class actually. Prabhupada speaks about Mahaprabhu. He means Mahaprabhu. He is offering prayer. My dear Lord, son of Nanda Maharaj, Krishna accepted the sonhood of Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj. So he is very much pleased if anybody addresses him son of Vasudev. When he addresses Yashoda Nandan Braja, he is very happy. Because when you address Krishna in relationship with pure devotee, he is very happy. And that's what Narottam Das Thakur says in the Prarthana book. Krishna nama gane bhai radhika charana pai. Radha name pai Krishna Chandra. Prabhupada quotes in CC. If you chant Krishna, who becomes happy? Radha. And if we chant Hare, who becomes happy? Krishna. That's how chanting holy names, Hare Krishna. That's why we chant Hare Krishna. That's why it's the best service. Chanting is best service because chanting, just like he told, calling out to Krishna, and it makes him remember his devotees. The idea is not that you remember about pastimes of God. That's not the main thing. The idea is he remembers his own pastimes. He is more important. It happens with all of us, isn't it? We all want to keep our memories, isn't it? We all click our albums, and then suppose, I mean to say, people who are married, you all have your marriage album. Maybe you see your album, it's nice, all memories. Krishna has these memories. He did so many pastimes. And if chanting makes him remember his pastimes, his own pastimes with Radha, Govardhan, and he becomes very, very happy. And that's devotion, by the way. That's why we are chanting, to making him happy. The point is, it's not about us. The sooner we understand, the better it is. It's about him. And in the process, we will be delivered. In the process of making him happy, we will be delivered. But if we are interested in ourselves, then it will not work. It will not work. That is called trance. In trance, the person forgets his selfishness. Actually, he forgets himself. He is totally absorbed in Krishna. because he doesn't think he's important. That's the point. So that's one of the main thing. Chanting helps Krishna to remember the pastimes with Radha. Entire Brihad Bhagavat Amrit is based on this Padab, if anybody has read, isn't it? That caves, you know that? In that caves is there in New Vrindavan. Krishna had New Vrindavan made in Dwarka. So Uddhava, I think Uddhava takes Krishna to the caves, and on the caves there were paintings of Krishna killing Putana, Trinavarth, and then Krishna is there, Uddhava is there, and Radha is standing, she's seeing from behind. And Uddhava is saying, Krishna, you see this painting, and you see you killed Putana, and Krishna was so happy, and then you see you were dancing with Radha. He's showing all these, and Krishna is becoming happy. You see the point? Uddhava is trying to make him remember about his Vrindavan pastimes. That is service. We are servants, we are serving him. So we are trying to make him remember his own pastimes, and that's how he becomes happy. That's why chanting is the best service. It makes him remember about Radha. It makes Radha remember about Krishna. That's why chanting Bhajner Madhya Shresht Nam Sankirtan. Okay, these are 5 reasons how chanting works and why it's the most important limb out of all limbs. Why it is like that. But here's a question. It should come. Hey, what's happening? Okay, now here's the question. How to chant? If chanting is very important and it's the most important limb, and I just told how it works, no other limb can work like chanting. But then how to chant? So this question depends on one of this quotation of Prabhupada. You see, it's a beautiful quotation, and we are talking about chanting. And here Prabhupada comes, he says, revival of dormant affection or love of God does not depend on mechanical system of hearing and chanting. Prabhupada brings just the reverse point in Bhagavatam Purport. Okay, chanting is the most important duty, but then let me warn you, getting love of God does not depend on mechanical system of chanting and hearing. Now the most important word is mechanical. The idea which Prabhupada is bringing is attitude. Krishna becomes obliged to the loving spirit, not exactly to the service rendered. No one can serve Krishna completely. He is so complete and self-sufficient that he has no need of any service from devotee. It is devotee's attitude of love. That is why if we keep on chanting without a proper attitude, it doesn't work. It works, but it will not help you to get love of God in this life. That will not happen. And that's why if a parrot says Hare Krishna, nothing is going to happen. Now, it's a famous example. Bhagavatam says there are so many crows in Hardwar, so many fishes in Ganges. Nothing happens. Although they are all transcendental. Holy name is transcendental, we are with it, but if we don't have proper attitude, it doesn't work. So that's what Prabhupada is making the point. You have to chant with a proper attitude. Understand? You got the point? So what attitude we should chant? That's the main thing. Krishna is looking for the attitude while chanting, not just the chanting. That will also help. Even if you chant without attitude, no problem. Klesha Agni Shubda, some effects will come. Prabhupada says it never goes waste. It's holy names. But here we are not to get some effects. Our target is love. Until unless we don't attain love, we are not going to stop. Neither we should be satisfied. Neither we should be happy. We have to go a long way. So for that, in this life, we are not interested in next life. Who knows what happens in next life? So how to do that? We should have proper attitude. So what attitude we should have? That Prabhupada gives the nectar of instruction. See, advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of a follower. So we know there are so many devotees in our movement, and there are so many devotees. Some are advancing very fast, some are advancing very slow, some are not at all advancing, isn't it? It is said some are running, some are walking, some are crawling, some are lying on the floor and doing nothing. It's diverse, it's happening, we are all individuals. It depends on attitude. attitude. What's the difference between Prabhupada and us? He was chanting, we are chanting, but it's here, it's in this box. What happens? What's happening in this box? So what attitude we have to chant? That's the central question. Prabhupada answers for us. Prabhupada gives hints. Prabhupada says, we all know, this is common. Abhinatvam nam, we have to chant with understanding that Krishna's holy name is Krishna himself. In other words, in common English language, let me put, we have to chant in such a way that we are having a meeting with God. When we are chanting, we are having meeting with God. Or in American parlance, when we are chanting, we are having a conference call. Let us put it like that. Or maybe in the words of Jagadanand Pandit, when we are chanting, Krishna is dancing on a tongue. That's how it goes. What's that verse? Jeev nache, prem nache, Jeev nache, naam nache, nache prem dhan. When you chant, three things dance. The soul dances, the love dance, the holy name dances on the tongue, and the love dances. That's how it goes. He speaks, Prem Vivarth, Prabhupada quotes that. So when we are chanting, we have to understand we are in contact with him. We might realize this or not, but he knows that. When we are chanting, he knows he is with us. We might forget that, but he knows. That's very important. We have to remember he knows. And that is the meaning of Krishna consciousness. You know, by the way, Prabhupada defines Krishna consciousness in his books. And he gives various meanings for that. And one of the meaning he gives, Krishna consciousness means to be conscious of Krishna. Simple, isn't it? Simple. Another level of meaning in one of his morning walk or discussions he gives, Krishna consciousness means that Krishna is conscious of us. It's the other way around also. We are talking about love. Love means from both ways. Love is never one way. That's Jnani. Or maybe Yogi. It's from both ways. If we are conscious of Krishna, he is conscious of us. If we are standing and seeing him, he is seeing us equally. His seeing is more important than our seeing. Our seeing is sometimes detrimental also. His seeing is always well-wishing. So one of the meaning of Krishna consciousness, Krishna is conscious of us. Prabhupada says that. And one of his discussions or lectures, exactly, I have one seminar on this. Prabhupada says, so if you advance more, you go on a deeper level, and for then, at the deeper level, Prabhupada says Krishna consciousness means that you are conscious that Krishna is conscious of you. He goes at a very deeper level. That's basically you are now having a relationship. You're conscious that he is conscious of you. And that's what we do with everybody, isn't it? That's how human relationship goes. You meet anybody, you talk to anybody. What's the first thought in your mind? How he's feeling about me, isn't it? That's the first thought. It's not how I am feeling. Nobody thinks like that. When you talk with somebody and then meeting is over, then you say, exactly what he was feeling about me, whether he thought like I spoke properly or not, isn't it? You're thinking what he's thinking about you. That's the central thing of relationship. In when you love somebody, that happens, no? That happens when you love somebody. Your main thought is what that person is thinking about you. So that's what is Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada says that's perfection. When you are conscious that he is conscious of you, then that's perfection. And that perfection, Prabhupada says, that comes when at that platform you are in direct contact with Super Soul. Prabhupada says, no, first you are in contact with spiritual master, you are in direct contact with Super. That's a perfection of life. So that's how we should be chanting. That we are with Krishna. Now Krishna is with me and I am with Krishna. I am conscious that Krishna is with me. Krishna is also conscious that this jiva is with me. That is abhinatvam nam namino. That's the attitude we should have. Then we will have good concentration. Otherwise, our mind will just... okay, this is a simple point. While chanting, we should remember Krishna is also listening. It's not that only we are listening, isn't it? They make sense, no? If we are calling out to Krishna, Krishna is listening. Just like a child's cry for the mother. That is chanting is not just you chant and hear, and you miss the whole point. Prabhupada, this is the same quotation. Krishna likes to hear his holy names. So, okay, tell me this question. Whose hearing is more important? Krishna's hearing or our hearing? Why? Why? Prabhupada speaks about that in Sankhya philosophy, in 3rd canto. He says that. My whole thing is why. You see the point. I like this question. Why? Because that's what makes Prabhupada Prabhupada. That's what makes our movement. Why we call Namo Mahavadanyaya? We say Mahaprabhu. Why? Because Mahaprabhu gave answers to all the questions. It was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who gave us definition of love, which no Acharya could give. Ramanuja, Madhva, Vallabha, they talked about love. They didn't define it. They talked about rasa. They didn't define it. And without definitions, nothing is clear. Your path is not convinced, isn't it? You need definitions. What's happening? Mahaprabhu came, he defined. That was one of the uniqueness of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Jiva Goswami mentions in one of his small essay. There's this verse, Anarpita Charim Chirat. Jiva Goswami writes a commentary on that. And he says, why we call Mahaprabhu so merciful? He gives many reasons. One of the main reasons he gives, because Mahaprabhu has given the science of devotion and the definitions. Everywhere you go, devotion might seem sentimental. He's given the science, and that convinces us. Siddhant bolya chitte na karah alas. Ya lage Krishna sudhirda manas. He's given Siddhanta. Okay. So why Krishna's hearing is more important than our hearing? Why is that? Why his hearing is more important? You know what? If you read Sankhya, Prabhupada gives that example. Very famous example in Bhagavatam. Sankhya philosophy. If I see this book, I'm seeing this book. From my eyes are okay, book is okay. But if there's no light, can you see? No. With the help of light we see. With the help of Krishna we hear. First we don't hear. First who hears? Krishna. And then we hear. That's how it goes. First the information goes to Krishna. He is a CPU. He processes and then it comes to us. That's Sankhya philosophy. When you see something, first the information goes to Krishna and then it comes to us. If Krishna closes his eyes, we'll all become blind. Yad anugra santi na santi tadupekshaya. That's Bhagavatam. So we have to remember, when you're chanting, who is hearing? First Krishna is hearing and then you are hearing. It's not first you are hearing and then he is hearing. No. When you're chanting, Krishna hears and you also hear. We can't reverse. When you're chanting, I am hearing and Krishna is also hearing. That's wrong. That's wrong. Krishna is first always. Sarva karana karanam. He's always first. We are always second. Our problem is we always put ourselves first and Krishna second. I am hearing, Krishna is also hearing. Wrong. Krishna is hearing. If I hear or not hear, it actually doesn't matter much because he is hearing. And that's the point. When we chant, sometimes we hear, sometimes we don't hear, isn't it? The mind is all over. But at least we should remember Krishna is hearing. Okay. I might not be able to. I am sometimes not hearing. That's a bad news. But the good news is Krishna is hearing. That's a very good news. And that gives us enthusiasm to chant. Otherwise we become frustrated. I am chanting, I can't hear what's happening. Mind is, no. He is having full focus on you. And if you remember that, then automatically your mind will get fixed on him. Because if he is hearing, you got to be really cautious. You see, so Krishna is also hearing. Prabhupada, that's the attitude. Prabhupada also says that another attitude is, we should always remember chanting is the best glorification. This line from Adi Leela Chaitanya Charitamrita 7th chapter 95th verse, this line is the most important line of Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Bhakti Siddhanta dedicated whole life on this line. All his Gaudiyas, all his Sajjan Toshani, afterward Bhaktivinoda Thakur, harmonist and whatever he had. His life was this. Lord Chaitanya never tried to be master of holy name. He taught us how to be servants of holy name. Bhaktisiddhanta, he wrote a full book on this, a thesis on this, by the way. That's in Bengali, you all can read if you get. Brahmana or Vaishnava, you know that? You know, that book. There was a big debate in Baligai, and he wrote, and that was a central point here. Because for Karmakandi and Brahmanas, we are master of holy name, but for Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we are servant. This is very nice. And you can go and think about this statement, it's very deep. Think about that. But the point here I'm bringing is, chanting is the best glorification of Lord. Prabhupada says in Science of Self-Realization, chanting is the best prayer and best glorification. And the meaning of this is, Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes a song, Krishna Naam Tua Aneka Surup. Isn't it? That's a big song. And when you chant properly with a mood to glorify Krishna, then what happens? From the name Krishna, many other names will come. Tu Aneka Swarup. We all know this Mahamantra is all mantras, isn't it? Yeah, but we know theoretically. But when you chant and we have a realization, then you chant Krishna. From Krishna will come the name Govinda, Yashodanandan. All these names will strike in your mind like Ganges river. So many millions of names from the name Krishna itself. Just like flower blossoms, names, millions and millions of names will blossom in your soul. And from that will come qualities and pastimes. That's the meaning of chanting is best glorification. We have to figure out and realize this point somehow. Everybody has to do on their own. Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes, I can just tell you chanting is the best glorification, and then I put my pen down. After that, you have to realize for yourself. He can't explain more than that. So that's the last song of Sharanagati. He says that. And the attitude while chanting is prayerful mood. That we all know, prayerful. That's please engage me in your service. That prayer, actually this prayer, please engage me in your service, that's a foundational prayer. That's not the only prayer. We all know when we chant nicely, from this prayer many other prayers will come. Just like Mahaprabhu. All these are Ashlishya Padratam, these are all prayers. But also we should be grateful. Kritartha hoy Natha. Is this song, Bhakti? In Chaitanya Charitamrita also it comes. Actually, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu goes to Srirangam, he goes and he runs in the altar and he has darshan of Ranganath for the first time. First he takes bath in Kaveri, he runs all the way, he enters temple, he takes darshan, and you know what he says? The first thing he says, oh my Lord, I am so grateful, I am Kritartha, I am so honored, I am so grateful to you because you have given darshan to me. And you know what, I'll just mention here. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu before that went to Sakshi Gopal also. Sakshi Gopal on the way. Yeah, he goes there in the morning, 4 o'clock. He reaches in the morning. Because he's running, he reaches in the morning. And he takes darshan of Sakshi Gopal. And at that time, Pujari was waking Krishna up. And Krishna didn't have flute. No flute. And this is mentioned in Murari Gupta Karcha. He didn't have flute. Mahaprabhu goes, he sees, and you know what he thinks? And he prays to Krishna. Krishna, I am so grateful to you that you have kept your flute down just in order to talk to your devotees. That is devotion. Devotion is not static. Devotion is dynamic. In devotion, we are not trying to stop our mind. In devotion, we are rather trying to make a mind bewildered in the past, in the word of Krishna. You see the point? We are not trying to stop. That's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is trying to explain. So this mood of gratefulness and prayers, when we chant, there are many prayers will be coming, and we should feel actually. There are mantras in Hari Bhakti Vilas, where when you pick up the beads, there is a mantra. I am so grateful to you, to the beads. Actually, you're chanting to the beads, that prayers. I am so obliged and grateful to you that you're helping me to chant. Isn't it? We all know that. There are mantras for that. So, attitude, these are some practical tips. I'll just go quickly. Do not chant fast. Do not chant in mind. Prabhupada brings that point. Do not try to finish holy names. Because, this book Prem Vivarth, Jagdanand Pandit, in the last line, you know what he writes? He finishes. If you try to finish chanting, chanting will finish you. He says this. What do you do with that line? He finishes. Because the point is, of course, we have to finish 16 rounds. That is practical. That is vidhi. But our attitude should not be like that. We have finished. We can't finish chanting. Chanting is beyond limits of space and time. It is spiritual. You can't block it into space and time. It becomes material activity then. That's why Prabhupada says 16 rounds on the beats, innumerable rounds off the beats. Prabhupada said that. Okay. So, Prabhupada says, you have read this? 16 rounds on the beats, innumerable round off the beats. Chant 16 rounds on the beats and then keep on chanting in your mind. Innumerable rounds. There is no Sunday in Krishna consciousness. That's what Bhaktivedanta said. There is no Sunday. Keep on chanting. So do not chant fast. You can chant a little slow, no problem. It's not necessary to sit and chant. Many of acharyas, they were walking and sitting and walking. Bhaktivinoda Thakur used to walk. Every evening, Bhaktivinoda Thakur made a point to chant in the park, isn't it? And he said, so that trees and birds and people will see me. Bhakti Siddhanta used to walk in the gallery of Chaitanya Math, Gaudiya Math, there. Chaitanya Gaudiya Math, and also Bagh Bazar. Bagh Bazar, his room is there. He used to walk that. He used to walk and chant. Prabhupada used to walk and chant. It's not necessary. The rule to chant is, in what position should we chant? The rule is Mano Anukuli Eva. This is sutra from Vedanta Sutra. And the meaning is, in whatever position your mind is favorable to chanting, be in that position. If you feel you can chant very nice by hanging upside down, okay. Of course, we should not do that. The Prabhu, what's happening? But the point is, it's all about necessary.
Morning walk.
Yeah, morning walks. Yeah. Never sleep while chanting. That's the worst thing we can do. That's the worst offense, because chanting means you are inviting Krishna, you are invoking him, and then you go to sleep. It's like you're calling a guest. Yeah, please come at 7 o'clock. He comes and then you go to sleep and he's waiting. That's out of etiquettes. Sleeping while chanting is out of etiquettes. It's not good. Do not be distracted while chanting. That's okay. Sometimes chant more. Like Ekadashi, we chant 24 rounds, 25. Sometimes we can chant more if we have time. We have services. Sometimes we can chant 30 rounds, 40 rounds, 50 rounds, 60 rounds, 80 rounds, 100 rounds. If you have time, why not? Sometimes. And it makes a difference. Sometimes long hours chanting makes a difference. We all know, isn't it? You start entering holy names. Slowly, and the holy name starts overpowering your mind. If you spend time with holy name, that's the point, the more you spend time with your girlfriend, the more there is love. It's simple. It's just spending time with God. Actually, Bhaktivinoda Thakur brings this point. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says Krishna consciousness is simple. You can develop love for God. It depends how much time you spend time with Him. The more you spend time with a person, the more relationship you have. Simple. So chanting, we can spend a little more time with Him. That's how chanting more means spending time more with Him. That's how I put it. That's how I look at it. It's not just chanting more. Do not drive and chant. I have lost many God brothers and devotees. They have died, met accident. And there's like people chant in America also. Well, it's a very bad habit. And at least in America, they chant while driving car. In India, they chant motorcycle and scooter while driving. yeah, that's the worst. I don't know. Yeah, with one hand this and bear bead bag and with one finger accelerator, and I don't know. I don't know how they're doing that. You used to do that. See.
I saw in my.
You saw in my. It's like the worst thing.
But some Mataji, they do like this.
Yeah. So, one of my god brother, he met an accident. He died on the spot. You see the point. Every person who meets an accident, before meeting an accident, every person thinks, I will not meet an accident. Who will think I'll meet an accident? But then you meet an accident. So please don't do that. And create an environment to chant exclusively. It's very important. For full-time devotees, it's good we are in the temple. For congregation, it's very difficult in house, somewhere kids, somewhere something is happening, somewhere spend time. Either you have some dedicated room, go to park and chant, but stay a little alone. And the best thing is, when you chant, please throw this off. Throw this out. You have to put somewhere this device. When you chant, put it somewhere else. I am damn sure we will not be able to chant if this is there. This is the big one. Yeah, this is the biggest obstacle now. I think in the list of obstacles we have to put this thing. Yeah, just off it. Just put it somewhere or lock it in your safe or give it to somebody, And chant, it makes sense, It's such a distraction, Okay. Can anybody answer this question? Why Krishna wants us to chant his name? Why he wants? Many people ask, no? Krishna wants you to chant your name. Is he egoistic? Or does he want us to flatter him? Why he wants? Now I am asking, this question has many answers. What is the first answer you would like to put? Krishna wants us to chant to please him. Okay. What's the first answer? That's a good answers, no?
We can go back to him, to God.
Yeah.
Said that everybody likes to hear about himself, Krishna.
Yeah, but then
he wants us to be happy.
But then, okay, good. You see the point. We have many answers, but we need that kind of answer which, see, our answers will make Krishna smile. That's our whole life. So one of the acharya, he said, what's the aim of my life? And he speaks in the song, the aim of my life is to bring a smile on his face. That's all. Our life is perfect. If he thinks about us and if he smiles. So some answers bring smile on his face, some answers make him excited, some answers make him dance. So answers of Bhaktivedanta Thakur and Prabhupada and acharyas, they are exciting things. What's very exciting answer? Why does he want us to chant his name? There are many answers. One answer Prabhupada speaks in Bhagavatam. And in fact, many of acharyas, they talk about that. Even South India alvars, and they talk about this. I'll tell, okay. This is an interesting answer. All answers are okay, are correct. But one of the very interesting answer is, you know why? Krishna wants to honor us. To honor us. Bhaktamana Vardhana. This is Srimad Bhagavatam 3.24. Kapaladev. Kadma Muni said, oh my dear Lord, you are always increasing the honor of your devotees. And I have descended in my home just to fulfill your word and disseminate the process of real knowledge. Kadma Muni is saying, Krishna, you came in my house to honor me, isn't it? What is holy name? Krishna. He wants us to chant his holy names, and the form of holy names, he appears in your soul, just like Krishna is appearing in the house of Kadma Muni. And he wants to honor us like that, isn't it? If Obama comes to your house, Obama is no longer, but I don't want to speak about Trump because Trump Consciousness. So that example may not be good. If Obama comes to your house, suppose he comes, ting ting, he comes. What you will say to him? I'm honored, isn't it? I'm so honored you have come to my house. The king comes. That's holy name is Krishna. When you chant, he is coming in your soul and you're honored. That's one of the qualities of Krishna. Aman in aman dena. We learn from him. He doesn't expect honor. He gives honors to everybody from his angle. You see the point? From our angle, we are thinking, Krishna give us mercy. Okay? Krishna is not thinking like that. Krishna is not thinking I am giving mercy. Krishna is thinking I am serving my devotees. He is thinking in a different way. We are thinking we are serving him, we want mercy. Krishna is thinking, well, I am serving my devotees. He is like that. Prabhupada explains this in Nectar of Devotion. His quality to honor His devotees, to honor everybody. That's why He wants us to chant. That is one of the answers. There are many answers. One of the very interesting answers. So He wants to honor. So okay. So this is the last question. How do we know our chanting is good? How do we know that? We have to know our chanting is good. We are chanting properly. How do we know that? Some things we should know which will not confuse us. Some symptoms. Just like I'll give you example. So I'm a doctor. And if a person comes with a pneumonia, you know pneumonia? Pneumonia? If a patient comes with pneumonia, he will have some symptoms. Fever. Okay, pneumonia. Fever. And some cough. And if I see with stethoscope I put, then I will hear some sound on lungs, crepitations. When he breathes, some sound. So I will know it's pneumonia. Okay. When I give him medicine, this pneumonia patient, and he comes to me, doctor, am I becoming all right or not? What will I see? I will not see fever. Because fever is very tricky. Sometimes the patient is getting cured, but the fever is not going down. It's very tricky. Fever might go down, might not go down. So fever is not the symptom to judge. What I will see if he is getting treated is the sound from the lungs. By putting, if that is gone, he is okay. Even if he is having fever, patient will say, doctor, I am having fever. No problem. I know you are getting okay. Similarly, chanting. There are many symptoms. With chanting, we have happiness and this and that, but they might be confusing. I need some symptoms which you are sure my chanting is good.
Material desire going down?
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah.
Becoming humble.
Material desire is going down. That's one of the thing. Yeah, same thing. Same thing. That's one of the thing we are looking for. If we have to judge our chanting, the parameter of good chanting is one is detachment. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. Anything else?
Becoming humble.
Becoming humble is little tricky because everybody feels I am humble. Nobody feels I am proud. So becoming humble, well, I am already humble. So it's tricky. You don't know whether you're humble or not. Actually, we don't know unless you have people together. There's a conflict, there's a project. You really don't understand. That is why actually that's the reason we are living together. To know who we are. Alone, everybody is good. If you are staying alone, everybody is a very nice devotee. But when we start serving together, then our problems come out, conflicts, and that's the real test who we are. That Sankirtan movement, that's why Mahaprabhu says stay together. It's not to really help others. Of course we'll help others by staying, but it's really to know who you are, your original face. It will come out when we are together. And that's why association helps us to know who we are. That's the main function of association. But sometimes when we associate and we know we are this, we become afraid and then we go away from association. By thinking that this devotee is bad. No, that devotee is making you understand actually. Hare Krishna. Yeah. So that devotee is helping you to understand who you are. Why? He is not bad. And that is why it is said, Mahaprabhu says, if you want to become tolerant, what you should do? What's the best way to become tolerant?
Keep quiet.
No, not keep quiet. Then you don't know.
Accept everything.
No.
Forgive.
Yeah, that's how do you become tolerant? Yeah.
Being neutral.
Huh?
Being neutral.
The best way to become tolerant is to associate with somebody who is intolerant. He will teach you how to become tolerant. That's a test. You will never become... That's what parents are. Before marriage, every boy is irresponsible. After marriage, who teaches that person responsibility? Kids. When kids are born, they become responsible because they are totally irresponsible. That's the function of evil in this world. Why Krishna, you see temple, every temple has some crazy devotee. Am I right? Good devotees? Some. every type of devotee. Why Krishna allows all types of devotees to live in his home? He is all powerful, he can do everything. He can just... He allows because everybody has a role to play. Every devotee is our guru. And they got to teach. Some devotees teach us good things. Some devotees, by their negative qualities, help us to develop good qualities. So if that person is intolerant, and if you associate with him in a right spirit, in a right attitude, of course, if you don't have a right attitude, you'll also become intolerant, you'll become messed up. Then it will teach you darkness and light. Darkness helps to appreciate light. A diamond glitters more in coal mine, isn't it? That's how it goes. So if you want to become tolerant, if you want to develop this virtue of tolerance in your soul, not in your mind, not imagined thing, you have to associate with intolerant people. They'll help you. If you want to become humble, what do? Now you can know the answer.
Go to proud people.
Huh? If you want to become humble, it's good to be with people who command you. But our general tendency is somebody commands us, no, remain away. Why is speaking to me like this? No, he's helping you. He's helping you to develop qualities. That's how a devotee looks like that. That's his attitude. Otherwise we'll become frustrated. We'll don't understand. That's Krishna's plan. How he helps his devotees. But we should know how to actually see that plan. So what is good chanting? Okay. I'll just quickly do that. The first thing we are looking for is remembrance, isn't it? That's how we'll know we are advancing in chanting. Spontaneous remembrance, what I was talking, not forced remembrance. We are looking for spontaneous remembrance. And Prabhupada writes, that is required. Smaran automatically. There in this quotation. We are looking for the symptom. And the day you are getting that smaranam automatically, then this means we are really advancing. We are looking. If we are not getting, then we have to work on quality, quantity. We have to do something. Kena api prakarana. Do something. Something is required. Remembrance. The second thing we are looking for is sadness. And not happiness. Only. And that's a very interesting point. You know what? Okay, let me ask you a question. When the holy name touches your soul, what will happen? Now holy name is touching our mind and intelligence, or maybe not that. When it really penetrates your mind, intelligence, touches your soul, what happens? The first thing, what will happen? First thing is we'll become very, very, very sad. Extremely sad. Because we'll immediately feel separation from him. He's somewhere else, we are somewhere else, Even if we are there standing in front of him, we are actually not in contact with him. We have accepted him, but the point is whether he has accepted us or not. We don't know. There's a lack of relationship there. So you will feel a lot of, that's sadness, that's Mahaprabhu, by the way. Whole Ante Leela. So when you are chanting, you are not just looking for pleasure and happiness, you are also looking for sadness. It's a mixed feeling you are looking. Because when you chant, if you feel only pleasure, then you can be confused. You don't know whether it is Abhas or Shuddhanam. Because Prabhupada says this nectar of devotion, see, it's a beautiful line, chapter 47. In devotional service without strong attraction to Lord, they may sometimes be smiling and other symptoms of happiness. It's before, but never stress or lamentation. Even without strong attraction, even at a stage we might feel happiness. We feel that? Every one of us. But you will never feel sorrow if you are not pure, if chanting doesn't touch your soul. That will never happen. That can never happen. Just like, for example, a child. If a child comes here, we'll all be happy, no? Not here exactly in the lecture, but if you meet a child, 5-year-old child, everybody become happy. But the mother is sad. My child didn't eat. Isn't it? Only mother feels sorrow. But everybody feels pleasure. So pleasure is a very tricky thing. You can feel happiness with music also. when there is kirtanam. It's a mixed thing. While chanting, sometimes your mood is good, so you feel happy. And chanting also has that capacity to make you happy. But the perfection of chanting is sadness and happiness. We are happy because we are on the best path. We are happy that we have got the holy names. But we are sad because still we don't know whether Krishna has accepted us or not. We don't know. Nobody of us knows. We don't know actually. That's our whole mood. That's how we do devotion. So we are looking for both. Spontaneously sorrow and happiness, both will come. And that's why you see Prabhupada's photo is always like that, no? Like this. And when reporter asked, he said, Prabhupada, why are you always sad? Like this. Prabhupada said, this is ecstasy. You can't understand that. So it's sadness and happiness both. Don't just look for happiness. Happiness is a side effect of chanting. That's not even symptom. It's a side effect. You will have happiness and peace. That's for free. But we are looking for love. And the symptom of love is sorrow and happiness. If you separate a child from mother, she'll become sad or happy? Then how we become happy? Being separated from Krishna. It doesn't click, isn't it? But it's both. We are happy because we have got devotees and we have got the path. Path is there. We are happy. But we have not reached the goal. That is the sad part. So that's what we are looking. And the third thing, we all know, good chanting leads to more chanting and more service. It will enthuse you to chant more and do more service. And here, I'll just finish. You have heard so many things. And to realize all these things, how do you learn this? Learn chanting by chanting. As Prabhupada says that. We have to become expert in chanting. And when we become expert, that's the perfection of life. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.